What's up to Lion Talk Live? So we love you too, buddy.
What's going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, everybody? It's Calvin Johnson Jr. here, a.k.a. Megatron, a.k.a. First Ballot.
What's up, man? It's your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live, Coach Dan, by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
I love nothing more than watching Lions Talk Live every morning. Woo!
Woo!
All right. Well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I am your host once again, Dan Thornton, and I want to thank you for joining us here today. Hey, it's Thursday. Training camp's just rounding out for the day, and we're getting some news, multiple different reports from a couple injuries. Don't know, full disclosure, if it's anything to be seriously considered or if it's nothing. One of them, though, is a lower leg injury, and unfortunately, that's going to be to one of our star expecting defensive players, Terrion Arnold. He's being evaluated as we speak by the Lions medical staff. Pads aren't even on yet, and injuries, as we all know, are starting to happen. You guys probably all know about Levi Onwuzurike is injured, out for the year. You're getting a Miles Frazier. He's going to be out at least until the start, it sounds like, of the regular season. Now, on top of that, Terrion Arnold being evaluated by medical staff persons for the Detroit Lions in the locker room as we speak. The other one on top of it, I'm hoping not nearly as severe considering he missed almost all last year, and that's going to be Derek Barnes. He just signed the new contract. It is a hand injury. No, I do not know if it's his right or left hand, but this all came to light about 10 to 15 minutes ago. We do know both men were taken off the field. We know T.A. was, carted off the field, and Derek Barnes was going ahead with medical staff to have his hand evaluated. No word yet. I can say just from own personal experience, if Derek Barnes broke a hand, and I do not know if he broke a hand, he would be back probably early in the season. Terrion Arnold, I don't know what the injury is. I only know Hutch Jr. got this to me. I know he's trying to work his way onto air to talk about all this. So let him know on air now. So he should be joining us momentarily. But I think anybody who's a Lions fan who's got any kind of pulse understands what happened last year. Phenomenal season. 15-2. Man, great season. But obviously we had a little bit of an issue with all the injuries later in the year. Dan Campbell had to go for it on fourth down over and over and over again just to keep the offense on the field. Hutch Jr. is sending me a message just saying having some camera issues. Be on in about 2 minutes. He's trying to get there. So we're all going to be a little sensitive to the injury situation from last year to this year, and we do have guys getting out already. What does this mean? Well, the good thing is if you're the Detroit Lions, we were talking about it on the morning show, you do have one of the deepest secondaries in all in football. So as long as Terrion Arnold's injury isn't a major injury, ACL, MCL, etc., he'll be back, probably sooner versus later. In regards to Derek Barnes, he missed last year, as we all know, with the knee injury, coming on back. And yes, the pads aren't even on. It would not be a great situation if he has to miss any length of time. Again, I only know it's a hand injury. This is coming from multiple different reporters live in there. I am not live in there, so I'm trusting them at their due diligence to come out with all this. We also know that, the Sarge, Tony Bretto, is going to be live and in person giving us feedback as it happens Saturday. So if something happens there, he is going to be attending to try to give us some information. We do want to thank the Sarge for being on the show earlier today. All right, we got about a minute or so until, well, never mind. I guess right now he's going to join us. Let's get him on the mic. Hutch Jr., you got all these injuries happening. Derek Barnes just coming back from an injury. Walk us through what you know happened today.
It just sounds like Derek Barnes was a hand injury. Terrion Arnold went off the field with a leg injury. Obviously, don't know the severity of it. Sounds like Terrion Arnold was on the sideline for a little bit, and then, we lost track of him. So we don't know. Leg injuries can be scary, as people have just seen. I'm sure everyone got the news with Justin Fields that, It was first reported he was carted off, and then this, and come to find out it's just a dislocated toe. So we'll see. I'm sure we will get information here pretty soon, I would imagine. I don't know when, but let's pray it's nothing serious. Everyone knows padded practices tomorrow they start. And Dan Campbell had to stop practice again today 4 or 5 times because people were being aggressive again. I love the intensity, but if we are being too intense and players are getting injured, that is not good for our team in the long term. So who knows? We will see.
I think we all get every coach wants guys to treat it like a game, the whole shebang, especially with MCDC. We know that he wants the guys to have a certain mentality. He wants them to go out there and hit, treat it like a game at all times, replicate a game situation as much as you can in practice. With that being said, last year, obviously the Lions, man, they couldn't stay healthy on defense to save their own selves from themselves. What do you think so far in training camp with, we know Levi Onwuzurike's out for the foreseeable future, probably the rest of the season, as Dan Campbell said. We know that Terrion Arnold, cornerback, you need those legs. If you don't have them, you ain't a cornerback in the NFL. Derek Barnes, the hand, probably go through a laundry list of people, Broderick Martin, an ankle, knee, foot, whatever it was with him. I don't even remember. But does Dan Campbell need to address this? We're not even 7 days into camp and we're getting all these injuries. What do you think MCDC needs to do to stop the train wreck that is the injury front?
Yeah, it's hard because you want these guys to play, but these guys that are going down are your day one starters. So Terrion, he's your day one cornerback. Derek Barnes, he's going to be your Mike linebacker, your Sam linebacker. If I'm Dan Campbell, I'm talking to these guys look, guys, I understand you want to play Dan Campbell football, you want to play Detroit Lions grit football, but we got to take caution of each other. We're out here injuring ourselves. Even Calvin Shepard said it in his press conference this morning. He says, Dan Campbell wants the intensity. Brad Holmes, Rod Wood, all these guys wants this intensity, but we also don't want collarbones and neck bones and leg bones laying out on the field. We need you guys on this field. So to see all these injuries, it's just concerning because last year it was this is the same thing that happened. Training camp, we had a couple injuries, not as many as this year. But then in the season, we had all those injuries. So it's is it strength and conditioning? Is our strength and conditioning coach just not great? At some point we got to start looking internally. Are these guys doing the stretches right? Are they doing hydration right? Are they doing things? But it just seems like it's every day. I think the day one of training camp, we've had at least someone injured at least one time. I did see Broderick Martin was back out there. He was out there today. So
that's good.
There's a start, but we can't Derek Barnes just came back from an injury. And now we're talking, he's got a hand injury. Hand injuries can be just, okay, is it a bruise? As we know with Ennis, it was an arm. He'll be back probably this week sometime, but leg injuries are the ones that scare you. That could be hip flexors. It could be a toe. It could be ACL. We don't know,
We're talking on the morning show just how deep the Lions apparently are at linebacker. And I think most of us agree the depth over there is pretty outstanding. It's good news that it sounds like Ali McNeil and Malcolm Rodriguez are going to be back. From most reports, at least from Brad Holmes' lips, it does sound earlier than anticipated. So maybe the early part of October. Being that is May, as you just said, Derek Barnes, if this thing is bad and it goes south, then he's out for the foreseeable future. We know that Matthew Judon was in at least some sort of level of communication workout with the Lions yesterday. We know that also, I forget his first name, Kaiser White, was, and that's been confirmed through multiple outlets as well. He's a linebacker, got some potential. He was working out with the team yesterday. Do you think the Lions need to add some more players to this team so maybe you take some of the stress and reps off your main guns during camp?
Yeah, from what I was, watching and reading today, it got chippy again today. St. Brown got into it with Brian Branch. So these guys, they want to battle, but yeah, Kaiser White would be a nice addition, whether or not they bring back Anzalone or not. If everyone remembers last year when Anzalone got injured, we were bringing in 4 or 5 linebackers from practice squads just to help him fill it in. Kaiser White was a starter for the Arizona Cardinals last year, and right. He was he played over 1,000 snaps last year for them. So regardless of what he does, I think you still bring him in regardless of what Anzalone does. Anzalone has came out and said, look, I'm not going to hold out during the game. I'm still going to play. But if you can bring Kaiser White in for whatever reason and have him as a nice bench piece, you do it. I don't care. Like, that is a really good piece to have. If something were to go wrong, you have him. He's still a top free agent. You don't want to get 6, 8, 10 weeks into the season and all these good depth pieces are gone, and now you're calling up these practice squads, and we get right back to where we were last year.
You know, and again, I do want anybody who's just joining us, I do want to reiterate, we don't know the extent of the injuries at this time. We only know it's being reported from the reporters. They're live watching training camp that both gentlemen has left. We do know and have confirmed, obviously it's been multiply reported that Broderick Martin a couple days ago busted up his foot or whatever it was. He's back today. We also know that you do have some Lions, that are missing practice because of injuries that we've sustained during the first, 4 or 5 days of training camp. I guess we all need to try to get used to the fact that maybe we'll have some injuries again this year. I'm not sure what the situation is, but as Lions fans, because of what happened last year, we're all going to probably be a little sensitive anytime we get an injury front update. Hutch Jr., any parting thoughts before we get on out of here?
It just sucks, because I know these reporters can only do so much. Shout out those guys because they do amazing jobs. But, when they put out some of these tweets, man, I think as Lions fans, I think we jump to
Hutch Jr., we lost you there. Well, all right, we lost him there. We lost you for a second there, man. You froze up.
Yeah, so I'm just, I think as just Lions fans, we take these injury news with like very serious because of what last year happened. We don't know these injuries. Let's hope they're all not serious. Maybe, they're just, but outside of that, man, it's just, these guys need to stay healthy. Pads come on tomorrow. We really get to see Hutch back in action. So that's what I'm more excited about. I can't wait to see the clips. Outside of that, I mean, some of these guys had, Ahmad had a very good day today from what we were saying. Terrion had a really good day, apparently, up until the injury. Jameson Williams had another big day. So John,
what do you think about his potential? I mean, not to interrupt you, but just real quick before we get out of here, we've heard from him yesterday, Jameson Williams, just how much more John Morton is throwing at him, where Ben Johnson really tried to restrict him to a couple particular routes. Do you think maybe John Morton's just ahead of the curve, or do you think he sees J-Mo developing?
Yeah, I think he's just going to help J-Mo develop. I think Ben Johnson just saw the speed. And it was really surprising for me to read that quote from Jameson Williams where he said, Ben Johnson just kind of saw me as a reverse, a streak, and a post. Like, that's all Ben Johnson wanted me to run. And then now you're seeing him run different routes. I mean, some of the tape that they put out against his one-on-ones against Brian Branch, I mean, he burnt Brian Branch right off the line. I mean, he hit him with a stutter step, and he was probably 2-3 yards in front of Brian Branch. And everyone knows Brian Branch is a hell of a DB. So, like, me personally, like, I wouldn't go off on a stretch and say, depending on how many snaps he plays, I could see J-Mo going for 1,200, 1,300, 1,400 yards. It's kind of astronomical, but if you think about it, the guy averaged 17.9 yards a game last year, and he played 50. Like, it was some astronomical in the least amount of snaps. That's the most guy he's had in a 1,000-yard receiver. So if this guy can get out there, and I think him and Goff now have, in the years that they've kind of played, they're starting to develop that chemistry. I put a crazy thing out there on Twitter, and I mean, I had a lot of people react to it. I would not be shocked if J-Mo becomes our number one wide receiver. And that's not a bad thing. It's a crazy thing to say, but it's kind of a stupid thing to say. But St. Brown is so good in his aspect that I think J-Mo can just, with his speed, like, St. Brown's good. He doesn't have 4.1 speed, but J-Mo has that speed, which adds another piece to that, like, wide receiver, and it just makes your defense that much better. I mean, if you're talking about J-Mo now developing his route tree, now St. Brown's going to be better. Who knows where he can go? Laporta's going to get better. Now we're talking about putting Gibbs out wide. Okay, so now you're making David Montgomery better. That whole offense now is just, they're more deadly in the Johnny Morton offense than the Ben Johnson offense. And that's crazy to say because Ben Johnson, as everyone know, we gave us one of our best offensive seasons ever. So
right. All right, let's not, again, I just, I want to reiterate, we don't know the full extent of the injuries. We can only report what's been out there to regular media, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it nowadays, plus whatever the different reporters working at the field are out there reporting on their different websites. Guys, we get some more firm updates and get them over to you, but I'm sure Lions fans right now, hey, drink a Mountain Dew, say say a prayer to the injury gods of the NFL that hopefully TA is okay. It is a leg injury. To what extent? Don't know. Also, Derek Barnes, hand injury. Don't know. It is good news, as Hutch Jr. reported, that Broderick Martin was back on the field today. So I'm still rooting for the guy to come through. I'm hoping he can be the next Iffy Melifano or even a Derek Barnes, who kind of took a year or two to develop and then busted out. So Hutch Jr., why don't you go ahead and give yourself a shout out and tell everybody where they can find you and your great work.
As always, Dan, thanks for having me. You guys, we do amazing work here, so it's appreciated. As always, guys, you can find me on here. Superfan Hutch on Twitch or Twitter. I'm sorry. I also do now have a Lions Facebook page. If you guys would go follow that, it's called The Lions Den. I do post clips from here and then all the Lions updates from training camp and the seasons and trade speculations and things like that. So if you guys do have Facebook, go support that as well. And then cmvradio.com as always.
All right. One other note, and I don't know the extent about it since it's not really Lions related, but the Jets, Justin Fields, apparently was indeed carted off the field. So thoughts and prayers to him. Hopefully it's nothing serious. All right, guys, we'll catch you on the next one. Keep your notifications on. And hey, if you would be so kind, hit the subscribe, hit the like, hit all the buttons. We'll catch you all on the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, everybody.
Excuse me, sir, would you... Donations to the Reverend Moon? Jews for Jesus? Read about Jehovah's Witness? How about Buddhism? Help Jerry's kids? Oh, yeah. Scientology? Or nuclear power?